saying the same thing that's already said. I think there's a little bit of difference here, but I'm getting clearer understanding. Okay, 2 Chronicles chapter 10. Chronicles have taken me a long time. I have a hard time getting into these two books. Looks like I'm finally getting somewhere that's starting to make a little bit of sense here. Other than the obvious of what it's saying, it's just sometimes it seems a little bit boring because I can't quite grasp what the text is really getting into, other than something they use to shape timelines and such like that, and kind of saying the same thing that's already said. I think there's a little bit of difference here, but I'm getting clearer understanding of one of the biggest points in the history of the Bible. When Solomon makes a mistake, and doesn't really show that in Chronicles, but it shows that he dies, and Rehoboam, his son, is the next in command. That means he's going to be king over all of Israel. So all of Israel, including, it looks like Jeroboam, who had fled to Egypt while Solomon was king, hears that Solomon's dead, so he comes back to find out what the new guy's going to do. So him and all of Israel speaks to Rehoboam, the next king. Says, "Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father, and his heavy yoke that he put upon us, and we will serve thee." And Rehoboam says unto them, "Come again unto me after 3 days," and the people departed. So Rehoboam, he goes and talks to some older people, his older council, and they said, "Be good to them, and they'll serve you forever." And then he talked to some young people, and they said to tell them that you're going to make it harder on them, and that not only are you going to use whips, you're going to use scorpions. He's going to say, just forget what they say, and tell them it's going to be worse for them. So Jeroboam, on the third day, comes and talks to them again, and answers them harshly, answers them very hard, and rejects the old people's counsel and takes the young guys' bad attitudes and does this bad thing. But it's bad, but that's the will of God because of the sin of Solomon. So it says here in verse 16, I think, 15. "So the king hearkened not to the people, for the cause was of God." See that? This was God's will, that the Lord might perform his word, which he spake by the hand of Ahijah the Shilonite. So Ahijah was used as a prophet. He was a Shilonite, whatever that means. His blood or race or region, whatever. To Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. So Jeroboam was obviously a pretty pinnacle person and rebelled against Solomon for whatever reason. Is irrelevant for this point anyway. Ahijah says to him through God to Jeroboam, forget it, we're going to be harder on you, so that Jeroboam would purposely reject, and a great deal of Israel would reject the true leadership going on right now. And here's this verse 16. "And when all Israel saw that the king would not hearken unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? And we have none inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to your tents, O Israel, and now David, see to thy own houses." So all Israel went to their tents. "But as for the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them." So Rehoboam's taken over one of the 12 of the tribes, it looks like. And then King Rehoboam sent Harodam, that was over the tribute, and the children of Israel stoned him with stones that he died. But King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem, and Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. So that's kind of the basic gist of why, what happened to major split up of the children of Israel after the sin of Solomon. It was God's will. He spoke it through the attitudes of the young people. God uses whatever he has to get his will done, and that's just how he works. He's even used a lying spirit in the book of 2 Kings to lie up to King Ahab's prophets. He had 400 prophets, and a lying spirit, meaning the devil, lied to all of them to give him confidence to go into war. That's how God allowed him to die. And some just happenstance arrow, yeah right, comes and nails him right through his armor and kills him. God had a plan to destroy him at the hands of people. God uses the hands of people to do his will. And funny thing that Rehoboam all of a sudden wants to listen to crazy counsel instead of wise counsel from the old men who wanted to do good. And that would have been great in continuing on with what God was going to have the people of Israel do. But since the unfaithfulness of Solomon, God says no. But he's also keeping Rehoboam reigning over one specific city of Judah. One of the tribes out of all 12 is going to stay preserved because of a promise he made to David. So God keeps his promise to David and keeps his judgment against the sin of Solomon by destroying his people. He would have destroyed all of them had he not made a promise to David. So he's able to destroy almost all of them and keep some of them alive to keep everything balanced out according to his own personal justice, which is right. So that's 2 Chronicles chapter 10, trying to make some sense of a couple books that I have had a hard time grappling my mind around it and starting to make a little bit more sense. So, amen. Hope you liked it. Amen.